चलो गाइस, सारी टीम का अब इंट्रो शुरू हो चुका है।
Team Apex Gaming!
Apex Team India, EAG tag
Your
मतलब
reigning
मैच में
club
tag
champions, Team Falcons!
Team Falcons,
AGL!
AGL,
Buriram United Esports! Your defending champions of NWC, EVOS Esports! Demons Pride! DRS Gaming! Paradox Gaming! Titan Esports Club! Loud Snickers! And finally, Gun Dynasty! Don't forget, if you want to survive, your only is to avoid these bottom two spots.
Words couldn't be truer. 12 teams enter the Gadia City grid, but only 10 will make it out alive. The stakes just got higher, so it is time to make your move. It is time for day 2 of Free Fire at the Esports World Cup. Four of the most dominant teams in the world will step onto the Gadia City grid for the first time today. Teams who swept through their regions and left their opponents in the dust. But now they stand at the base of a mountain faced with an almost impossible climb. Well, let me take this opportunity to remind you that this is your chance to instill the fear of combat into your opponents. Don't hold back, don't hesitate, and trust in your teammates.
The damage comes through, and Loud, all they have to do is just rush forward, and they're completely surrounded from every single angle. And Loud, once again, a booyah!
It might be a lot. Turn it around, and Bobs is the last one standing. It's going to be very difficult, but also Bobs crawling unhurry along with the help of MIB Alliance, and it's going to be MIB Alliance getting the very first booyah of Group B. For the final play, Roro looking for that recovery, and they won't be denied as Buriram pulls away the third booyah of the day to take the #1 spot on the leaderboard. And Lions are losing players one after another, and as that happens, even Dix gets eliminated, and Games King was the last man standing. And it is going to be MIB Alliance getting the final booyah of Group B's Day 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Free Fire at Esports World Cup 26 here in Paris, France. And you know what day it is? Day 2 of the group stage, which means that hopes will be crushed and dreams will continue to be built for the survivors. We have 12 teams from Group A, but only 10 will move on forward to either the survival stage or the grand finals, depending on their standings. My name is Husky, and I'm joined by Lucifer here with some 6-7 performances from some of these teams, but that's not the spot you want to be in. You want to be in the top 4 because you want to skip the survival stage, which means you skip 10 games.
Exactly. It's going to be very crucial that you get yourself out of this grind of a survival stage. Well, we say there are 10 games, but then those 10 games are not going to be easy at all because everybody is looking forward to another 4 slots tomorrow. Hopefully, they don't go there. They make it out here itself. And especially, we've been talking about Group A, which has teams being the toughest ones, the ones who've been the champions. And they walk away into the finals itself, the other teams will have a very big trouble moving into the silver stage.
Yeah, and that's ironically something that a lot of these squads are hoping to happen,
Yeah,
right? They
maybe.
are hoping that the heavy hitters, the front runners, make it directly to the grand finals, so it makes the odds for tomorrow better. And usually you don't want to hope for your opponents to win, but in this case, for some of our hopefuls up here, some of our first timers,
Yeah.
they want that to be a possibility. They want to increase their chances. And speaking about chances, Gun Dynasty, they're
Oh
looking
my
good.
God.
They're feeling confident. They believe that the hard work will pay off, and I personally believe in that as well. Yesterday performance was great. Now we need to see them push it through the finishing line.
Yeah, we had this conversation earlier as well, right? Southeast Asia versus Brazil. I think that's where the entire competition right now seems here at Esports World Cup 2026. But Gun Dynasty for Latin America, they're coming out of the mix, out of the blue, and nobody's able to read them. And especially for a player to tell that we're not at all feeling pressure. This is the usual stuff for us
Right.
day in, day out. That is unbelievable in such a high intense, high octane stage.
Yeah, I can't believe. I think it's like the mental fortitude and
Oh,
just
yeah.
the prep that they had, right? First time stepping onto such a big stage and having such confidence. And why wouldn't you be confident sitting in second place, just behind Buriram United Esports, who are at the top, of course, with 3 Booyahs and 80 elimination points. But if we take away that 3 Booyah, Gun Dynasty isn't that far behind, right? They are
Exactly.
only 3 eliminations behind Buriram United Esports, followed by HJL, and then our defending champions from 25, which is Evos, Laos Snickers as well, with 2 Booyahs under the bag. Team Falcons catching up in the later stages of Group A. The top 6 look incredibly strong, but then we see the separation between 6 and 7.
Yeah, big difference around the 6 and 7. 58 points is where Aurora right now start off, and that's almost around a 30-pointer difference. This is not going to be an easy jump up, and that is the reason we've been talking about. Like, yes, at the end of the day, we're going to be going to the Crusher to take away dreams. It could happen for some of them. They have to jump up, and in terms of those dreams, has to be the South Asian teams. That is Titan Esports Club and Demon's Pride. They've not at all had a great start. At least for Titan Esports Club, they have eliminations working for them. It's the placement points that they'll start working towards. Maybe there's a move up. They manage a chance towards the survival stage. I think that is a hit they have to look forward to.
Yeah, you gotta get into the flow state for the
Yeah.
next 6 rounds. And we actually, even during some of the team intros, we saw the South Asian teams, right? You can feel the nervousness,
Yes.
right? There is some tension in the air, and hopefully it breaks when they hop into the lobby. Yesterday was all about getting comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Getting the seats warm, and hopefully when you sit back down, you are in the zone. You are feeling, comfortable enough to let yourself go and just play freely. And I think that's the toughest part. People always say that you play the best when you have nothing to lose, when
Yeah.
you play freely and have fun, but it's pretty tough when you have so much on the line.
But Gun Dynasty, it doesn't seem like they're thinking in that direction at all. They've been completely keeping themselves away
Right.
from that thought process where there's a lot to achieve, a lot at stake. This is our time on the stage. They are not thinking about that. They're making sure they put the best performance of Free Fire ever seen on the biggest stages, and they're able to deliver. Sitting at a second spot, 3 eliminations away from the team at the very top, tells you the caliber that they're walking here in Paris and looking forward to their global title, taking it away from EVOS. EVOS, yes, got their booyah, but is it going to be enough for them?
And I'm going to take it a step further, Lucifer.
Uh-huh.
There are 3 points difference in terms of elimination compared to BRU, right?
Yeah.
So the main difference is the placement. Because if BRU have 1 less booyah, Gun Dynasty would already be at the top.
Top.
And actually it is closer than it is. And if you put that into perspective, it's a very scary thought. You said that, for a team that is on this stage, they play freely with as if there's no pressure at all. For a first timer, that is even more insane. So right now, I think hopping into today's games, the map rotation are going to be slightly different. Yesterday we did have the more Indonesian heavy favorite rotation in the second half, but today we get double purgatory. And you know what that means? Brazil and Thailand are going to be elated, but we'll start it off again with the classic opener of Bermuda to hop into game 1 of Group A on day 2.
And this is where every team needs to start, especially the ones in the middle order as well as the teams at the bottom. If they don't start making points now, they will not be able to catch up to the race, especially because now the Crusher is in front of everybody. And the map starts off evening the entire playland into our half.
And even if, when you look at your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the amount of booyah some of these teams have acquired for themselves. I say some, but 6 booyah split amongst 3 teams. We are, of course, holding the record, so if we ever get into a tiebreaker situation, they will have that innate advantage. But most Free Fire tournaments, Free Fire matches, we didn't have to go down that path because it is separated by eliminations. So those gunpowder are going to be very, very important. We see some early skirmishes already. The players getting hyped out. DRS, a team that wants to get up from the bottom, starting off right.
The real soldiers. They look decent. I really like how they played. We were talking about them yesterday when we were sitting backstage and looking at their games. They start off well. They have their one-off games, and they did that yesterday as well. EVOS right now on a team that needs to get to the top spot. That is going to be Falcons. They're firing on them. Eliminations already 3 totaled up. This tells you why they're the champs, why they're the defending ones right here on EWC. But now challenge coming in from Pina. He's already taken 1 down. Damage big time, and I think a back is in big trouble. Glue walls help him out, and then running around the glue wall, he puts Pina down.
Bailed out by the Mini Uzi in the CQC. It's a full spray down onto Pina. 4 points for EVOS at the start of this game, but Falcons not out just yet. In fact, the whole team has been brought back, so we're back to square one. DRS though continues to rack up points by picking up stragglers. This time from Paradox Gaming, and even Windy himself catching Alu out in the open, but again the Mini Uzi is the superior weapon.
What an individual battle being laid down by DRS. Looking very confident today, and this is how they played their game number 1 yesterday as well. And I think this is very consistent performance coming in, especially for the teams from Nepal. This is something that I expected when I was seeing these South Asian teams play out, and DRS are delivering. Can they deliver to the top 4 is a question, but right now another 1v1, and this time Prateek, he will not be able to take a hit because this time it's going to be Team Apex Gaming, who we spoke about, slowly make a comeback, and it's already started off finding the very first, and that's going to be Shoto, but his trouble is still not done. Around the pipes, it's going to be Strox, who is trying to trouble him, but Shoto out in the open, not the best position to be in. But there are reinforcements. That is KD God, the IGL. He has to stand with the team today, and he finds the opening.
And you had your opinions about these 2 teams that both started off good. For DRS is they are like the early round wonders. You need to see more consistency, but for TAG, they need some time to warm up. And I think it's falling into place for now as AGAL finds themselves a basically isolated Axo. So that's their 4th point. Rest Aurora Gaming out of there. Jun will have to drive along the coastline. But AGAL, we know when they smell blood, they are going to keep on hunting. So we'll check back in there in just a little bit. TEC taking over the compound, and Jazzy able to launch pad to safety.
Demon's Pride still haven't found their openings. No eliminations, rather have lost 2 players. Aswab will be finally revived, but KD God on the other end. Titan Esports Club versus Demon's Pride. Both these teams are at the bottom. Both of them need points. But in the mix of this, the last player, Jun, gets found, and Aurora out again.
That was scary. For half a second there, TEC going for the chase and almost gave away a 1v2. Thankfully, not a reality. Now Apex Gaming continues to hunt for Prateek. Actually getting the bison on the KD God. Instantly a recovery there. KD God going down again. Woman getting some magic done here. There is some recovery towards the very end, and thankfully TAG continues to thrive.
4 eliminations in total. KD God with 2 of his own, and this is what we need being delivered by him. He is the pillar of the team, like we were talking about Mafia from Total Gaming yesterday. KD God does that for this team, and as I said, slowly but steadily they pick up pace, and it seems like they are moving in the direction. Yesterday we did see one of the game where they did find eliminations around the double digits, but it's not going to be enough. Today they have to rake up a lot of points because the difference at the top 4 already sits at triple digits.
I gotta keep up that, live up to that name, right? If you call yourself KD God, you better rack up some numbers here. Even for Titan Esports Club, they are now currently in 11th place. Last we checked in on them and the overall standing, they're 4 points already. That is, you know, in all honesty, in a lobby that already started slower than what we saw yesterday is a good thing, right? My prediction is that teams like argue. They are going to slow down a little bit. They are already in such a comfortable spot. They're not going to be hunting for much. And this is actually a very good opening for teams at the bottom or the middle of the pack to start racking up some points.
Hands down, that's right. This should be an opportunity that the teams in the middle order should pick up points, and that's what Paradox is trying to do. Already found an opening on Team Apex Gaming. Will confirm the elimination Katie got, but quickly being hit upon. That Shoto putting down Sneaky for his sneaky approach on his captain.
Paradox still having members around. It's going to be windy now. Enrique out in the open. Shoto wins out on that exchange. And Enrique now fully sniped, not in sight at all. As Paradox Gaming pretty much separated on the map. And this is great for Apex Gaming. That's 7 points under the belt.
Looks really good. They're playing together and it's working out. 7 eliminations, as you said. On the other end, Paradox, depending on their 4 eliminations that they got, they were also confident. But this is how the exchange goes. When the middle order teams finally find their fights, they're not completely sure about the top teams versus their own teams that they're fighting around the points for.
When we go down the food chain, it is going to eventually come down to the placement points, right? Like the longer it takes for teams to get removed from the lobby, the harder it is to bag those placement points. And finally, we see the heavy hitters bring into action. Rasha completely ran over by Jonah there. The Valiant dash from the Oscar doing most of the work. He was Divine. He was Esports in this case. Not really looking for a fight, right? They lost Rasha, and that's what EVOS has been doing, I think, yesterday as well, where they were sending Rasha out on a one-man mission, and he's been holding the fort really well alone as a sniper.
Apex Gaming right now holding the Jordan Shoto putting down Gun Dynasty. We were thinking about this trouble.
GD अकेला बचा बस थोड़ी
Shiro trying to
ले लिया जाएगा
be possible. He's already
ए वन टैप दे वन टैप
the glue wall. Finds an opening.
बट ये बुल भी नहीं आगे रख मारिया चल भाई छोटो रे
Apex Gaming find another. That's going to be 10 total eliminations for them, and Benel is the last man standing.
And Benel, coincidentally, is also the star of the team as he gallops away to try and find some safety net. Dinoculus used to scout out the journey in front. For now, it is clear. Might ride the Takuri slightly further, but don't have to do so. Vending machine available. GD not out just yet. And this is something, a concern that you brought up before the show started, right? That Gun Dynasty, they had a great start. They were really confident. But there's a chance that they drop out on top today. And this might just slowly manifest itself. We check back with them in just a little. Mandara getting absolutely fried in that hut with Limit watching from the side as well. The rest of Falcons about to surround their prey.
अरे लागले क्या मारा था बे हेडशॉट
Confirmation there as Falcons take
यहाँ पर टॉप ऑफ रिवाइव देने के लिए आ
Losing
गया
players. Demon Sprite,
Top
they
में
need
revive दे दिया
eliminations, they need points. We spoke about this. Titan Esports
Limit
Club at
एक
least
का
picked up,
करने
but
की
Falcons on
कोशिश
the
तो
other
कर
end,
रहा
they know what they want. They want to get to the top 4. They are right now missing on the top of the charts, and that's the reason they're running right now. And they've already spotted top 16 because he's been laying down glue walls. Guerrero troubled a
पकड़
little
लिया
in the
जाएगा टॉप
meantime,
को
but I
कहाँ
don't
तक
think top
भागेगा
16 will have an opportunity on the other end.
टैग ने
Team
पैराडॉक्स
Apex
को भी खत्म कर दिया
Gaming.
ले लागले
They again re-challenge Paradox and put the entire team out.
And talk about a strong start as we check in the STC replay here. Demon's Pride, unfortunately, is caught in the cross, caught in rotation by Team Falcon. And of course, with the Skylar in hand, in the hands of Limit, it was easy pickings. Falcons raking up 10 eliminations, entering the double-digit club. 10 teams remain. We did lose Aurora very early on, like what we seen yesterday. Paradox being the recent casualty. DRS still in the lobby, but with only one survivor left. Grimnum finished completely taken over by the Falcons as they make them next year. We can expect a bit of a rotation afterwards because the circle did move to the eastern side of the map.
Falcons versus Loud
Eastern and
BGP किया
completely
था अभी
southern, and that is the reason we end up
Nick
seeing
आगे
teams. But Falcon now have another trouble in front of them. The ones who they are sharing the Oro rankings with, that's going to be Loud in front of them.
यहाँ पर भाई DRS भी गई
in the deep waters will also be found and fished out, and with
Bolt
that
maker का
DRS
use
allowed.
आ
But right
चुका
now
है
with the bolt maker being called,
Loud
the
की
fight
तरफ से
breaks
Bolt
out
maker
between
use
Falcons as well as Loud Snickers. They won this fight. They
Loud
want to
के
get
तीन
back
प्लेयर का
and
तो
make sure they
तीन
stabilize
सबका
their
प्लेयर का
position in
लोकेशन
this
रिवील है
SCA versus Brazil. They want to
एक
make it.
नॉक
Brazil was not
गया
having it. It's a
लागले
quick exchange. BZP, he manages to confirm on P now. That's a very crucial opening to take
लिमिट ने
out
भी
the
एक नॉक ले लिया
CQC
है
player.
He also spotted
लिमिट की
rotation
तरफ
of
भी एक नॉक आ
Borsha,
चुका
so
है
Limit is not going to let it out of
जय
sight. Nick's
निक ने
actually
भी एक और
put
नॉक
him
ले
in the
लिया
quick stab. Perfectly done, and
अकेला बचा हुआ
BZP back up on his feet. Loud Snickers
निकलने की
out
Falcons
doing
निकल जाएंगे
Falcons.
निकल जाएंगे
Guerrero on the
हाँ
run with the
निकल
launch
गया
pad. BZP not able to find the track. Falcons escaped with the
चलो,
tails
अभी
between
कोई
their
नहीं
legs,
क्या बात।
but not fully clipped
Revive
yet.
हो
Pina
जाएगा।
was brought back, but Lao Snickers now take pro.
What a fight that was to hold it off and DZP to put Limit over there. If
Yeah.
he did not find, because Limit was already helping his teammates out with the sniper, and that is the reason taking out bits and pieces of Falcons worked out for Loud. First take down the CQC player and then go for the one in the long range made wonders. AGL on the other end, sneakily, they have been pulling up eliminations for themselves, 7 eliminations. And I think in the top 4 so far that we've seen teams, AGL are the ones who are very consistent, safe and sound, and not troubled by any team
AGL
so far.
versus Tag.
Same as BRU, right?
Yeah.
Both of these teams have been chilling a bit. We say that they have been taking it slow, but then when you look at the eliminations, AGL actually has 7 eliminations off screens, and most of it is just picking off stragglers and catching teams in rotation. But most of these teams, they were able to get those revives in, and this is why we still have 9 full squads, almost 9 full squads less for Demon's Pride.
Buriram
BRU now
Jati
making
यहाँ
their rotation just past Pochinok. A good chance that they run into GD again, who has been giving them some problems yesterday.
Ganda and ST
पता
yesterday has been a
एक
problem
ही
for their
मारी
own.
अंदर से।
Hopefully they soon recover. But right now,
Firstly,
Demon's
Loud
Pride has
को-
got a problem in front of
Loud
them.
को पता चल
That's
चुका
going to
है
be
यहाँ पे
Loud.
squad है।
Quick run with a boost in the vehicle they took, and they take the compound right next to Demon's Pride. 3 players, Jazzy, Aswab, and Madara. They have to figure an approach because Loud have been
Or
looking
which
louder
one
than
has to
ever
be
here on day 2 for the top 4 spots.
Absolutely. And it seems like Demon's Pride are
इनको
thinking
पता
about
सामने
standing
की
their
साइड की
ground,
स्क्वाड
but
है
there could be
लॉन्च
intervention
पैड का यूजेस
from
देख लिया
EVOS,
अब।
who are right behind them, just silently watching this go down. We see the UAVs being sent out. And I think Lao Snickers are doing a good move. This is a very classic pincer, right? You surround the compound and suddenly whoever is in those buildings becomes the one that is trapped. DP are starting to feel that pressure.
Yeah, today, I think Gun Dynasty, while they did not feel any of it yesterday, it is about qualifications. It's about keys at stake. It's about
Falcons
making it in the
को
final.
रोक
And
ले रहे
right
हैं,
now,
Falcons की
even
तरफ से।
Falcons Esports Club on top
यहाँ
of
पर
the
टेक है,
silo,
Falcons के एक
start
player को
putting
निकली
players
है।
down, doing the damage, and EVO's
पीछे से
helping out
ईवोस
over
भी
there.
पड़ी है।
Unfortunate, one of the eliminations
खतरे
was
में
stolen away, but they still have
अरे
the
ये
eyes
निकल
on the
जाएंगे आराम से यार,
Falcons.
सेफ आ जाएंगे।
The verticality has changed. Falcons are on the ground, whereas Titan Esports Club are on the roof right now.
Yesterday we got very generous circles, but I think today things are going to only get worse.
Look at
Eight
the final
knock.
circle.
I mean, the circle's right out in the
Tag
open,
clear
right?
knock हो गया।
If you are not good, if
अरे
you're not
sniper,
comfortable
रुक जा यार,
with
थोड़ी
these
देर रुकता, वो
CQCs out in
निकलते
the
हैं
open,
अभी।
if you are slow in the decision making, that is difference maker. And I think it's a very good time to put our teams to the test. Who can fight for circle as brutal as this?
Yeah, an open circle, and if you're able to stand your own, especially in game 1 of day 2, that gives you a lot of confidence moving further. And that's what Team Apex Gaming have done. They've started off great, but right now they have a challenge. All gamers
अरे
do want to
भाई।
find an opening. Plethora of tribals being all tuned towards Team Apex Gaming. Flash freeze, nades, but now
Skylord,
counter
flash freeze.
activity coming in from
कितने
Team
damage
Apex
दे रहे हैं
Gaming, trying to
भाई।
push down AGAL.
Shoto आगे push
Shoto
मार
in the
चुका है।
forefront using the
Shoto ने
dash,
push मार
wants
दिया।
to find an opening, but AGAL are not giving space.
And they took care of the UAV as well. Medic gun to Hugh Shoto back up. The
साहिल
tip
यार
of the
बिल्कुल
spear
दूसरी तरफ आ
for
गया, दोनों
TAG
side से गिर
lies
गया।
in his hands. Barrow's getting
Barrow
flanked
गया,
out.
बच गया,
Sahuja
बच गया,
almost
बच
getting
गया।
takedown. That could have made a world of difference here, but it
दोनों
does
ने
put
एक गोली
AJ out
दे
in a
दिया।
dangerous
छोटू यहाँ
spot
पर
right
गलत नॉक।
for this Cypher that manages to break this fight wide open. TAG down one, second one on the ground. KD gone now. We have to dig deep and find something, but AGAL will be the one that prevails.
That was brilliant caliber and holding position played out by AGAL. They held that ground even though they were at a disadvantage at the edge of that peak. They were still holding it off against Team Apex Gaming. Would have had an opportunity, but I think that being a little spread out became a disadvantage for them. But right now, spreading themselves around, we saw already this rotation coming in from Loud, the smartest one. They're ahead of Demon's Pride, and now they have vision. And EVOs are also being troubled by Loud, and now even Demon's Pride trap already
अरे
getting
भाई
closer.
नेड
He's already
ट्रैप और
found an
नेड
opening on a swap. Jazzy, he's
खत्म।
also down. Trouble now for Demon's Pride. Last man standing. And
खत्म
the
रे
net
ट्रैप।
from trap. The M79 strikes death for Demon's Pride.
And off-screen, Team Falcons also dispatched by BRU, and now they turn their attention over to AGAL. Nameless did get popped early on, but it should be a recovery. Titan Esports still has Blade around, and is he sharp enough to cut through the ranks of the Goliaths in front of him out in the open? This is gonna be tough. No utilities, 2 glue walls, and only 5 medkits, as BRU will also have to make a break for it. once more Dore out of this. They exit straight into the line aside of Loud Snickers and potentially Evos.
This is what should not happen on your day 2 where you're looking forward to qualification. All the top 4 teams are still surviving. Buriram, AGL, EVOS and Loud. It's only Titan Esports Club all the way at the bottom who has the last player standing and he doesn't have any position in the zone. So a lot of points which could have been acquired for teams for qualification are being missed out. Blade will be spotted, quickly taken down by Cypher. And we come down to the last 4 teams and all of them are in the top 4.
Wasana takes a nade to the face,
EVOS
but
अकेला player
getting
बचा
top
था।
back up by the therapy. The
Loud
support
versus
system always solid there. Get high, getting sniped by Cypher.
वसाना भी नॉक हो गए यहाँ पर। ये बुरीराम भी गई, बुरीराम
As
खत्ता।
Loud Snickers and AJL work hand in hand for the elimination, and now they turn on each other.
AGL, they are inside the circle.
Loud
Ultra
का
gets
player
taken
क्या?
down.
Loud का
Cypher
दूसरा
wants to
player
put
को
BTP
aim
down
लगाया
in
जा
the
रहा है।
truck. He's not
Loud का
been
दूसरा
able
player
to
भी
do,
गया।
but finally that strike coming in from Dew and Evos
खत्म,
Divine
EVOS
helping
खत्म।
out as well.
Loud का second
Nix
position
becomes
है।
the last man standing as Evos go out. Cypher has already spotted him, wants to whack
से
him
मार-
out.
अरे
but Nix,
भाई।
he's trying to isolate
अरे
this one.
लागे।
Nix it down. Players
अरे
are falling
भाई,
down.
दो
And
knock ले
eventually
लिया था
it'll
यार।
still be
और
AGL.
कर
They
लो।
had the numbers and they get their very first booyah.
Very first booyah in the group stage, and even without it, they were in the top 4 spot. So imagine when you give AJL such a big boon. Fantastic performance. We saw the hold earlier on where they came back from a disadvantage, and it was all because of one minor detail: Barros surviving in the back line. If you don't break the backbone of AGAL, they will break you instead, and that is exactly what was achieved. Them and Lau unintentionally working together to get rid of BRU, but then AGL found a perfect engage onto Lau.
Yeah, I think there was an opportunity where Loud, if they had a chance to recover themselves after the fight, being at the edge of the zone, it could have been their booyah as well. They've already pulled so many yesterday. It could have been an added on third today.
Yep.
But AGL's position, we spoke about it, even in a position where they had to climb up the hill against Team Apex Gaming. If that did not work out, you would have seen AGL go out very early on. But they held their own, they held their front there, and it worked out. And now they've gotten their very first booyah here on day 2, especially being at the top 4 hurts the middle order.
Yeah, but there are definitely flowers that need to be given the teams that are in desperate need of points, right? I mean, TEC, TAG, well, they came out strong. DRS as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's some great stuff happening, but let's listen in to what AGL were talking about leading up to that booyah.
फर्स्ट भैया AGL ने ले लिया।
Again, another performance from AGL that I think shook the opener of day 2, but I would say it goes back to the potential of our secondary scenario. If this trend continues,
Yeah.
then might as well let them go through. Let them go through, and we have some of the teams who are chasing for the qualification to grand finals play tomorrow. An extra 10 games, but I guess without these heavy hitters being a big threat, it makes the chances slightly better.
It makes the chances slightly better if you think about the survival stage, but as you look at the performance right now, the bottom dwellers, the last 2 were there, even Titan Esports Club and Demon's Pride, they try to make it towards the top 6 teams, meaning they're acquiring placement points, they're getting eliminations, and they're trying to get themselves out of that elimination threat, meaning the middle order, now it's completely dicey. So you don't know who's going to get eliminated. So better be wary. Either you strike towards the top 4, or you don't know if you're going to get eliminated or not.
Yeah, there's always that safety net, I believe, for any Free Fire competition, right? If I can't take that top spot and qualify, the bare minimum, I make it out alive to the next stage. And so if you can't aim for top 4, aim for top 10.
But I'm not sure if it's going to be as easy as it sounds or as easy as we make it sound. Because look at Gun Dynasty, they were barely able to get 2 points in this game. That tells you day 1 and day 2 can be completely drastically different. It cannot replicate the same performance. And that's what even AGL, to get their very first booyah, allowed to go out like that, tells you that teams are slowly strategically planning their championship. They want their trophy, their key put on the shield.
Yeah, more impressively is how this group was a group of teams that basically they enter the boxing ring and they just start swinging, right? They're just filling their arms. They're trying to get some haymakers in, and then maybe after 6th round of just mindless brawling, they decided, okay, that kind of hurt a little bit. We got to slow down. And the teams that actually made it work are the front runners. AJL, very patient. BYU, very patient. Laos Snickers, very patient.
Yeah.
And patience paid off.
Yep. Completely. The top 4 teams surviving till the very last, and also being the last 4 surviving teams. That patience, that holding game off, actually playing as survivors, and knowing that they don't have a lot at stake to go out. Whereas Gun Dynasty, something that we were talking about, if they miss their performance today, and if Falcons rise up the ranks, they might get pushed down. We already spoke. Yes, they have high number of eliminations, but that's not going to cascade and help them out to directly qualify if they don't put up a decent performance today.
Yeah, I would say that they do have a safety net with the points they have, and let's see how much longer they can lay in that bed of roses. We're gonna let them lie down and rest for a little bit, as we will be right back with more Free Fire action.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
What an intense opener. AGAL secured the first booyah of the day. We are now back on stage with Miko and Chita Caroline, and of course, we have Yunsul here. That was exciting, right?
Yes.
What a game, what a match. I mean, what even is that last circle, Yunsul?
That was crazy. That was really intense. Imagine we have 5 teams, very strong teams compete with each other. And lastly, only one survived, which is AGAL. And so incredible. I have been watching them since yesterday until today. And finally, they got their booyah. I was waiting for that for the whole day.
Yes, and what's amazing is that AG actually scored the highest elimination points the other day in one game, and that was the 5th game. They got 19 points. I'm pretty sure they were able to be doing that again today, hopefully. But seeing what we just saw in the first game, I think things are looking quite promising, right?
Yes, from what I can see from yesterday, they have been playing very stable. Even though there is no booyah, but still, as you said, the elimination points was on point, on peak. They were doing so best, and today, finally, after game 1, they got 1 booyah. But still, the first ranking here is Buriram United Esports, which is 149 points. But the first ranking, well, this is our stage hit for the after game 1. Thank you, Conchita, and thank you for your listening. Let's head back to our casters.
Thank you very much, our lovely angels, Yunsu and Conchita. We got a lot more in store here at the Free Fire at EWC 2026. Again, Paris can only get more and more lovely with these actions as we quickly drop into map number 2. And this time we're going to change it up a little bit. We did mention earlier on that the map rotation will be slightly different today. And AJL have started off strong with a booyah. So let's see if they can keep that train going.
It is Solana that we dropped down to. And another opportunity for the teams in the middle order as well as the bottom. And you can already see a quick swap because of how Titan Esports Club played. And we mentioned this. They need placement points. They instantly got it.
कर लिया है स्टूडियो और
And now
वाटरफॉल की
they
तरफ
are
से
in
कोई
a
स्कोर
great
आई तो
spot.
देख लेंगे.
We
Upper
cool.
page
We
score,
complete each
80
other's
banta hai.
sentences. But I will say that whatever we sort of like set up yesterday is slowly coming true, right? We talked about Demon Sprite needing to come up, and again,
Demon
taking a
Sprite
fight with
or
Paradox
Paradox
early on.
दोनों
It's
के साथ
Aswap.
खेल चुके
They get wiped out first. Enrique, you
Paradox
see here,
खेल
he has great survival instinct from game 1, but top
ले
16
लिया Paradox
hunt him
को
down.
खेल
Aswap
लिया.
instantly brought back. TEC now
Paradox
joins the
दे दिया.
fight. That is a team that we've been watching out for at the start of day 2. Najat in the fray of things. Rahat also coming in, and Blaze slicing through the ranks of Demon Sprite.
Oh no, Swab in the mid-air has been spotted by Gun Dynasty and he will be taken down. Demon Sprite are losing players once again. Paradox get eliminated in the mix of
What
this.
is this? क्या चल
And
रहा है
Paradox,
भाई?
who just got pushed to the
Paradox
bottom
इतनी
2,
जल्दी
will
खत्म हो
also
गई.
suffer another loss right at the start of our game 8, match 8.
Talk about kicking them while they're down, and they are out. Paradox, a very unfortunate early exit, completely swarmed by multiple teams in the earlier stage.
DRS versus Fed.
Whether it's desperation or a change of pace for some of the bottom dwellers, it has been working out in favor of teams like Apex Gaming,
Yeah.
Demon Sprite, Titan,
इसको नहीं
DRS.
पता.
I mean, even with
इसको
GD
पता
able
नहीं
to
है,
pick
पर
off
DRS
a couple of stragglers on their own. But it does come at a cost of teams who are just half a second slower to respond.
DRS want to be the quickest one to respond right now. They did spot AGAL, but they take the fight to Titan Esports Club, and Nejad is taken down. And it is the wisest calls I feel right now coming in from DRS, and they're making a run for it. Rahat and Blade, they just have the stairs that they are being protected by, but DRS, they are on a charge. They want to go for a hit. Arno was backing off, uses the chrono and is now safe and sound, but at least this gives away the position of where the players from Titan Esports Club are. But it's only these two. The other players are in the other direction, revived and are healthy.
Pratik is actually getting pressured as well. Forced to take the zipline away. Takuri actually getting tagged in the meantime, was brought down. But this was sort of like the demise of Paradox Gaming. A very quick and painless one. At least they take the bottom spot. Aurora still in this game, which is a blessing in disguise if you are a Malaysian team supporter here. But Blade just absolutely popped Rasha. Great shot from afar. Rahat caught in for reinforcement. Aurora this time stand their ground and will not be taken out by AGAL in the earlier stages. Jut up the stairs. Cypher barricades himself safely. And Axel with the follow-up. Cypher is out.
He'll be confirmed. It's up to Barros and Dew, who's in his flight mode right now, dropping in air. If he gets spotted out, trouble will strike. And Aurora, they need a game like this. They need a recovery game, and it might happen on Solara, where everybody's forced for a fight. Barros tried to hold his own, but he'll not be able to. At least the revive happened. Therefore, there is still chance for AGL, and they don't have to be worried about. However, Aurora, they needed these four crucial eliminations.
The good news for Aurora is that they are not close to the bottom two. But bad news is that they technically only have 5 games to play, because game 1 they didn't really get anything done. So the catch-up game, and there's a lot more urgency for them compared to the rest of the teams. And one of the teams that is in no rush at all is EVOS. And so far playing on Solara, it's one of the maps that they are slightly more comfortable in. Loud Snickers playing a bit of Stroax, completely found out in the open. And Loud Snickers with the first point.
Loud are playing, I think, a brilliant game so far. Ending up in the top 4, making sure they stay the top 4 way that they are in. And it continues that they make it to the final as well. We've already been seeing their counterparts from Brazil. MIP are lost in Fluxo. They're keeping their toes matched up, and I think that's what Loud want to do. And if it's a majority of all the Brazilian teams who made it here to EWC, all going to the finals, there is a big chance for them to walk away with being called the champions.
It's a lot of pressure also, because when we look at, even the, I want to say from the earlier days until now, you would expect teams from Thailand and Brazil, if they qualify to a tournament, they're expected to all make it to the grand finals. It is quite the way to show that, and especially for Loud, who has been on the big stage, they've missed out if they're not, they don't have 100% attendance, but when they're there, a lot of eyes are on them, right?
Yeah.
Aside from Fluxo, like Loud is the second team that you sort of want to make it to the finals and give a good match. But it has always been so close.
But Aurora also want to make that happen, and that's the reason this challenge happens. However, Jun's lost. That is Lasha coming in. Sue is also down. Confirmations. Aurora losing players one after another. That's Lasha for you. He wants again. He was back in action. Aziel spotted. Aim God puts him down, and it's the Axel. Can he put the chopping block out of EVOS, or will he be found out? Damage done, HP lost, his position completely compromised. It's just the boulder and the direction that he's running away. I don't see a vending machine to help, no other team to help out. And Axel will just try and bide time for the time being, because EVOS have a distraction.
Yeah, Demon's Pride bailed Aurora out of that. It was a missed opportunity. Aurora had that. Bit of a mechanical error caused them to be in this spot, but again, Demon's Pride were also hungry for some points. They ended up being the intervention that Aurora desperately needed in times.
This is what I was talking about. You see how the bottom teams are now fighting for eliminations. They will go for the top 4 teams are already getting their best.
That is the best part right now of this lobby. Desperation is a double-edged sword.
Yep.
And he has been empowering some of these teams so far. The risk, definitely not as great as the reward. Good ratio there. Even TAG finds himself on the feed. Just a quick reminder, at the end of this, 2 teams are going to have their keys fed into the crusher.
Yeah.
Always a sad side, because, man, such great accessories. But that's the nature, the brutality of the competition. Let's see what this circle brings us, because game 1 was brutal. And game 2, a little bit more tame, but plenty of open areas.
open right now is going to be a fight between Buriram and Evos, who just got revived. However, it's only one of the players getting stuck between the lot of Buriram at Eco Drain. And I think he'll be found very soon. But team finding players are tagged. That's Team Apex Gaming. More eliminations coming their way. They're climbing up the ranks, making sure if they have an opportunity, but they need a lot more. They need points closer to 30 in total. Maybe a Booyah also needed if they want a run going towards the top 4.
And the bailout earlier on, the unintentional one, gave Aurora time to bring the whole squad back, right? We look at the separation between Falcons and Aurora. It
DRS
is
भी यहाँ पे है और
14-9
गाड़ी
points.
वगैरह लेके तैयार है.
Made worse by the fact that Aurora didn't really get to play the first game, so it is a tall task to expect Aurora to catch up and find a tie, but it's good enough to remain in the top 10 and make it to survival stage tomorrow. As DRS looking for a rotation, Loud doing the exact same thing, but they might be beelining straight into Demon's Pride.
Demon's Pride, they just got eliminations from
लोड आ चुके हैं
Evos.
साइड की तरफ.
They have a compound that they're holding. Looks to be a better game. Loud have just
Loud
found
का
their
सिर्फ
one
एक ही
here.
kill है.
AGL, in the meantime, they're finding the players of
Evos
Evos, and
के ऊपर
Evos
भी
seem
AGL
troubled
आ गया.
after they were about to convert on Demon's Pride. Wherever they tried to head out, they've been spotted,
Evos
taken
के
down,
दो
and
player
eliminated.
एक player
Apart,
को ले लिया
being
जाएगा.
chased by
अकेला
AGL,
player
and he
बचा हुआ
will be
Evos
put
का
to
बस.
rest as well. And that is Evos losing their players. One last
Aim God,
survivor is
अकेला player.
Aim God. Only gets coins now, but where is the vending machine? On one end there's Buriram, on the other end AGL, and right in front now Demon's Pride as well as Loud going in for the fight, and it's going to be Loud putting a drop down, and the entire squad within a whip gets eliminated.
A full blitz
बस
from
ये
Loud
तो नाम
again.
ही
Their
लेने जा रहे हैं
execution
भाई,
and
मैं तो खत्म नहीं
these
कर दिया.
quick hits are so efficient.
Tag बहुत
They
ढीला है.
make sure that the fight ends
Divide
within
दे देगा.
15
Aim को
to 20
divide दे देगा
seconds,
इस player
so that
को.
there's time for them to recuperate if a second team does arrive. And it's something that has defined
दिया.
Loud's play style in
Rashia
competitive
को
Free
divide
Fire. I wonder if he gets brought back, but that's the most that Aim God could do for the team. And right after that, Axel finds a pickoff. And it's the same situation that Evos frequently find themselves
के चारों
in,
player एक ही
playing the
साथ खेल रहे हैं.
survival game.
As of now, I think that's the mantra for them. They're unable to find a footing to just go for fights, and they've been just chased by teams, put them down one after another. And DRS wanted to start out strong. The real soldiers using UAV to just get a grasp of information around. They spot another and they do destroy. Stroex, he is the sniper. He's the one who finds a lot of value. But so far for DRS, at least today's start in game number 1 was decent. And out of that, Solara right now hasn't found much.
And it's a team that is also a first timer on the EWC stage as well. Finally getting what people say they deserve over their counterpart back in the region. AGAL now facing off against BRU, the same face-off as round 1, but we might find an early ending as Jonah with a good hit on the deal. Saifa still pushing forward with support from his teammate Wasana though will win that fight, and this time BRU, they will show AGAL that once is enough. Barros is poking it out of there, but has to go into the blue with no coins at all.
You could see how clever that fight was. They used the Steffi, no throwables that could have been dropped by the side of AGAL. Went in for a 4-forward fight, guns all out, and Buriram had the better of it, and AGAL could do nothing of it. It's just very strategic play coming through, and this is what makes champions. And you mentioned Buriram, they want their cabinet with an EWC trophy, and this could be one of their opportunities.
Yep, it's the final piece of the puzzle, and how poetic it is that the final piece of the puzzle is fitting the key into the plaque. It's gonna be a lot of stories being completed. I think again for BRU, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for that to happen. Alu ends up stepping on a landmine. That should be the end of DRS as Guasha finds Pratik. Point number 7, number 8 for the Brazilians. DRS, they were just trying to put up a fight, but unfortunately not enough firepower in this case.
Trap mentioned. It's time for Brazil. It's time for Loud to get this.
Might be featuring some of your guys' stuff right now. I mean, trick to see what which teams are going to be